If you're looking for a really fun build to use and call your inner Master Chief from Halo, then this is the build for you. What's up guys, Surf&Twerk here, back with another Destiny 2 video. In today's video, this one's going to be pretty unique. I made a Titan build that's completely based around Master Chief from Halo. It uses multiple things that call back from Halo, including weapons, abilities, and more. Of course, like always, I'll be going over every single aspect, fragment, ability, and as well as weapons and armor mods to use to make this build the best it can possibly be. As always, the dim link will be down in the description below, and if you like this video at any time, make sure you leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe. With that being said, let's dive right in. Now, the subclass I chose to use for this build is going to be Void because of a number of different reasons. First reason being Ward of Dawn for the super ability. It's acting like a bubble shield from Halo 3. Not only that, but you get Weapons of Light, which increases your weapon damage. Next up, I chose to use the Rally Barricade here, which is similar to a drop wall like in Halo Infinite. Then I chose to use the High Lift movement ability. Pretty much this one will lift you and launch you into greater heights, thus acting like a jetpack from Halo Reach. For the melee, I chose to use the Shield Throw here. Shield Throw is going to be very important because it's going to be able to give us access to Overshield like in every other Halo before. Overshield plays a really big part in this build. For the grenade, I chose to use the Magnetic Grenade, which attaches to targets just like the sticky grenades from past Halos. Now moving on to the aspects, the ones I chose to use here were going to be Offensive Bulwark, which while you have an Overshield or inside of Ward of Dawn, your grenades charge significantly faster, you have increased melee range and damage, and your melee final blows extend the duration of Overshield. This is to buff your Bubble Shield, which of course gives you your Overshield, which is going to be a huge portion of this build. For the second aspect here, I chose to use Bastion, which when you cast your super, it grants Overshield to nearby allies, and casting your Barricade grants Overshield to yourself and nearby allies, and empowers it, enabling it to slowly regenerate the Overshield of allies bunkering behind it, and extend their Overshield duration. So again, this whole build is going to be based around Overshield. For the fragments here, I chose to use Echo of Cessation. Finisher final blows create a burst of void damage that causes nearby combatants to become volatile. Defeating volatile targets creates a void breach. Second fragment here is going to be Echo of Obscurity, which finisher final blows grant invisibility. This is where our invisibility from Halo comes in. And then lastly, we got Echo of Provision. Damaging targets with grenades grants melee energy. This one's going to be pretty important as well because our shield throw does come into this pretty strongly as well. Moving on to the stats now, of course, I'm going to recommend Resilience Tier 10. That way you can get the 30% damage reduction because Master Chief is very strong, so we obviously want to be very strong too. And then next, of course, I'm going to recommend Strength. That way you're going to be able to get your melee ability as fast as possible, thus helping us get Overshield. And then lastly, I'm probably going to recommend Intellect. That way we can get our Bubble Shield as fast as possible as well. Again, giving us a damage buff and also more Overshield. Now I'm going to move on to the armor mods. Of course, always going to start with the head. I chose to run the Special Ammo Finder, which increases the drop chance of special ammo on kill. And Ashes to Assets, which gain bonus super energy on grenade kills. And then Hands On, which gain bonus super energy on melee kills. Melee kills are going to be very important for our whole build here. That's why getting super energy is also going to be pretty important. Next on in the arms here, we got a Momentum Transfer, which causing damage with a grenade reduces your melee cooldown. Focusing Strike, which grants class ability energy when you cause damage with a melee attack. And then we have Bolstering Detonation, which grants class ability energy when causing damage with a grenade. So using all your abilities are going to help get another ability even faster. So make sure you rotate your abilities here. Next up onto the chest piece, this is where we're using our exotic slot, Severance Enclosure. I don't see this get used very often, but using it today was very, very fun. Its armor perk here is going to be Spheromatic Trigger. Powered melee final blows unleash a damage explosion. Finishers and final blows against more powerful combatants increase the radius and damage of the explosion. So you need to do powered melee final blows and finishers. Something that I found out that was actually really fun to do is you can chain finishing reactions. So if you go to damage an enemy, you finish them, the other enemy next to you will either die or become damaged to where you'll be able to finish them, and you can literally do a domino effect to all your enemies. It's incredibly satisfying, and like it said, if you do a more powerful target, the radius and damage of the explosion is going to be even bigger. So I would definitely recommend doing this on champs, especially if you're trying to bring this into GMs. For the armor mods here, I chose to use emergency reinforcement. When your shields become broken, you gain temporary damage reduction. Of course, this does use stacks of armor charge. However, it seems like it is a pretty good mod to have, especially if we're trying to be a super soldier like Master Chief is. For the second one here, I have Charged Up, which increases the maximum number of stacks of armor charge you can carry by 1. And then lastly, I have Harmonic Resistance, which reduces incoming void damage from combatants. But of course, you can swap that out with any other resistance that you feel like you need. Moving on to the legs now, of course, I'm running stacks on stacks, which picking up an orb of power grants you 1 additional stack of armor charge. Orbs of Restoration, which picking up an orb of power grants a small amount of energy to your ability with the least energy. Of course, all the abilities here are going to be important for us. And then lastly, Invigoration, which reduces melee cooldown each time you pick up an orb of power. So creating orbs is going to be pretty important for us. Now onto the Titan mark here. Of course, I'm using Reaper, which after using your class ability, which is your barricade, your next weapon Final Blow spawns an orb of power. And then I have a Bomber mod, which reduces grenade cooldown when using your class ability. And then Outreach, which reduces melee cooldown when using your class ability. So do not be afraid to pop your barricade, especially if you don't have any of your other abilities left. It'll help you get all your stuff back. The weapons I'm going to recommend here, there are a lot of options that you could put, but these were the ones that I chose to use. First off, of course, we're going to have the Forerunner Exotic Sidearm. This one is going to be like the Magnum from the classic Halo games. If you didn't know about it, it's actually very strong. I would actually recommend running this. Definitely give it a try. Even if you're not going to try this build out completely, definitely give this a try, even in endgame content. The special trait here is going to be Full Stop. Oversized sidearm with extended range, heavy caliber rounds, and it fires full auto with increased rate of fire. Deals increased precision damage to unshielded targets. So again, this is going to be something that's going to be very strong against even the toughest of enemies. And the Forerunner only gets better with its catalyst called the Rock. For several seconds after a final blow, hold down your reload button to consume part of your ammo reserves, converting the next thrown grenade into a fragmentation grenade. So basically, this gives you a frag grenade from Halo, and its explosion is absolutely huge, and it does a lot of damage. So every time you kill one enemy, it could be a small little thrall, hold down your reload button. It consumes 4 bullets. That way you can get your frag grenade immediately. You don't even have to wait on cooldown, and you can chuck it, and you do a lot of damage. This gun was incredibly fun to use. I should have been using it earlier. For the secondary weapon, of course, we're running with a Void subclass. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be using a Void weapon here, and that's because I'm using the BXR-55 Battler. Of course, supposed to be one of the most iconic weapons, the battle rifle. I could not run a Master Chief build without running the battle rifle. And then for the heavy weapon, I know that you could use a sword because, of course, the swords are the Halo weapons that they put in the game. However, I wanted to use something a little bit more practical here. I chose to use the Hez's Vengeance rocket launcher because it's the most similar to the Spanker that I could find, at least damage-wise. Look-wise, of course, it's going to be a bit different. However, I had a really good time running this, and I feel like it felt perfect. This build is incredibly fun, and I will say something that you want to keep in mind. Of course, it's going to be us getting overshield. Just like in Halo, keeping our overshield up. So what you want to do is power and melee kills and finishers, but don't be afraid to pop your barricade because of course that'll also get you overshield. With that being said, if you guys enjoy the video at any time, make sure you leave a like on it. It helps me out tons, and consider subscribing. We got tons of Destiny content on the channel. Of course, we're always coming out with new stuff. While Season of the Deep is just underway, I'm very excited to get under the water and figure out what the hell is down there. Appreciate all the support lately. It means a lot. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.